Hello, faculty, staff, students, and friends of the West Virginia University College of Education and Human Services. My name is Tracy Morris, and it is my pleasure to serve as Dean and to welcome you to our 2021 awards ceremony. Before we begin, I'd like to express my sincere appreciation to our alumni and donors who have made each of these awards possible. Your support and confidence in the good work we do in the college means so much. Thank you. Unlike the Oscars, we will have no musical numbers. What we do have for you is a spotlight on the important work of several very deserving individuals. Now on with the show.
From motivating us through challenging times to helping us discover our passions, teachers play an important role in our lives. And when we meet a teacher who truly inspires us, it's not uncommon to feel that influence for years to come. Sometimes teachers have such a profound effect on us that we want to share and spread the news of how great they really are. Each year, the CEHS Academic Affairs Committee identifies 2 individuals out of those nominated to be recognized for their commitment to teaching and learning and exceptional pedagogical contributions. I would like to thank the members of the CEHS Academic Affairs Committee for their work over this past year and for identifying those 2 award winners to be announced shortly. Kimberly Mee, Elizabeth Simpson, Chair-elect Kim Floyd, and Committee Chair Jeffrey Carver. And now I'll turn things over to Jeffrey to announce the award winners.
It is a pleasure to announce this year's Outstanding Teaching Awards. There was an excellent set of applications this year, and it's always both humbling and inspiring to read through the applications to look at the wonderful work that our colleagues are doing. This Outstanding Teaching Award goes to a faculty member who embodies all aspects of being a teacher, including thoughtful engagement with students, utilizing new instructional technologies in the classroom, engaging in best practices, as well as researching those best practices for use in the classroom. A former student writes, "The professor has implemented video software such as VoiceThread and GoToMeeting in her online practicum courses, which has allowed students to communicate synchronously and asynchronously on a weekly basis to present and receive individualized feedback on their lesson plans and intervention sessions." A colleague from a peer institution writes, "I have come to admire her thoughtfulness and thoroughness in the way she studies the needs of teachers working toward reading literacy specialization. The possibilities technology holds for reaching more teachers with advanced study, the research base that she uses to support effective practice, and the frameworks she uses to guide this work." This Outstanding Teaching Award goes to Aimee Morewood in the Department of Curriculum and Instruction, Literacy Studies.
Hello, everyone. As many of you know, I am Aimee Morewood. I want to begin by thanking the committee for awarding me with one of the CEHS Outstanding Teaching Awards this year. Many of you know that most of my teaching occurs in the literacy education program. When I first came to WVU, this was a traditional reading specialist program. Since my time at WVU, the program has changed immensely. First of all, over the years, the program began to weave literacy leadership into the courses to align with the International Literacy Association's vision. At the same time, the LE program was transitioning to a 100% online program. In fall 2017, we rolled out our last course, the practicum course, online. I was one of the main designers of this course and began teaching it this way during the semester. This is now an award-winning program. In fact, it is the only 100% online program in the country to earn national recognition with distinction from our leading association, ILA. Beyond the LE program accomplishments that I have been a part of, this year I was also awarded the ILA Jerry Johns Reading Teacher Educator Award. One aspect of teaching that I find so interesting is working with practicing teachers. The educators who I have worked with over the years are amazing. I have been fortunate enough to work with PK teachers from around the state that wanted to learn more about effective literacy instruction. Some of these teachers even pursued and achieved National Board Teaching Certification that specifically focused on literacy instruction through a grant that Allison Swandagan and I received through the Benedum Foundation. When I first arrived at WVU, I asked Sarah Steele to help me find a rural school to work with. She said she had just the place in mind, and I became the liaison for Mason-Dixon Elementary School. I took on this role in 2007 and continued until this year. During this time, I was able to be a collaborative faculty in residence. In this role, I spent one full day a week working in the school for 2 consecutive years. This was an amazing experience. I really became a part of the school community. I worked well with all of the teachers, was able to teach literacy lessons across different grade levels, worked with our WVU students that were placed in the school, and even became friends with many of the parents. It was an opportunity that not many of us get in higher ed, and one that truly propelled me forward in my career here at WVU. Another area that I have a real passion for is supporting doctoral candidates and master's students outside of coursework. I continually work to include students on research projects, professional presentations, and publishing opportunities. I want our students to have these experiences. And speaking of publications, if you're familiar with my research, you know that many of my publications are intended for a practicing teacher audience. I absolutely believe that working with and publishing on topics that are meaningful to practicing teachers will help to support them and provide more effective instruction for our P-12 students. I truly appreciate that the committee has recognized my commitment to WVU students and West Virginia teachers. Thank you again for this honor, and I hope you all have a wonderful summer.
This Outstanding Teaching Award goes to a faculty member who is a passionate teacher and engages her students in examining how instructional practices may promote or hinder access and equity in education. A colleague writes, "The professor uses all that she learns in the field to refine and transform her courses, and she provides all of her students, those she supervises, as well as those who have the good fortune to be enrolled in her courses, with learning environments that encourage them to question and to find the connections between theory and practice that will help them to become effective educators of all students." A student writes, "I just wanted to thank you for being an amazing teacher these past 3 semesters. Every time I walked into or logged onto your class, I learned something new about leading a class, whether it was about content or something I picked up from your own teaching methods. I never felt left feeling like I missed out on a learning opportunity. I feel like you went above and beyond for your students so that we will do the same for ours." This Outstanding Teaching Award goes to Johnna Bolyard in the Department of Curriculum and Instruction Literacy Studies.
I'm honored to be selected as one of this year's recipients of the College of Education and Human Services Outstanding Teaching Award. As I reflect on my career as a mathematics teacher educator, I noticed that I have broadened my perspective of what it means to be a good teacher of mathematics. And rather than only focusing on knowledge and skills that pre-service teachers might need in order to teach mathematics, I'm thinking more about the knowledge, skills, and dispositions that they need to teach all students mathematics. And I see this as an evolution of sorts, from thinking about preparing teachers of mathematics to preparing teachers of students and teachers who support their students in understanding mathematics deeply, developing positive mathematical identities, and understanding how to use mathematics to improve their world. As we all know, this year has brought challenges to all of us, and it's really forced me to think about what is important to learn. What do I need to make sure that I share with my students? And I had to recognize that they were going through an unprecedented time. And before I could really help them become teachers, I needed to make sure that I viewed them and acknowledged them as human beings. Listen to them, making sure that their voices were heard. And this is something that I hope that they take out into their classrooms as they interact with their future students. Finally, I want to thank all of my colleagues who are such amazing teachers and who push me every day and challenge me to be better. Thank you again for this honor.
Hi, everyone. I always enjoy this time of year because we get to recognize and celebrate together as a college the extraordinary contributions of our faculty award winners in teaching, research, and service. I'm always in awe of the awardees' dedication, drive, and accomplishments, but this year it feels extra special to be able to honor these faculty for their work. Each year, the faculty members of the RSPD committee have the privilege and the difficult task of reviewing portfolios and recommending to the dean the recipients of both the Outstanding Researcher and the Distinguished Service Awards. Before I speak to the nature of the first award, I would like to thank the members of RSPD this year for their service: Rodney Hughes, Jingmei Yon, and Tracy Evans. Deciding upon the most worthy of recipients for these awards was not an easy decision given the caliber of the portfolios you reviewed, so I thank you. Next up, RSPD will announce the recipient of the 2021 CEHS Outstanding Researcher Award. This award acknowledges a faculty member whose research has made significant contributions to one's discipline. A significant contribution is one that extends the boundaries of knowledge in the relevant discipline, or in the case of a funded grant proposal, has substantial potential to do so. Significant research activity may include, but it's certainly not limited to, work that develops new information and/or new theory, critically examines new and/or old information, and produces scholarly manuscripts that get published as articles, chapters, books, or externally funded grant proposals with substantial research potential. Without further ado, I now turn it over to May, who will announce this year's recipient.
On behalf of the RSPD committee, I'm pleased to announce the recipient of the 2021 CEHS Outstanding Researcher Award, Dr. Keri Valentine. Dr. Valentine's work investigates learners' experiences navigating complex mathematical, virtual, and natural phenomena. Her reviewed work during the award period included 3 published peer-reviewed journal articles, 2 peer-reviewed book chapters, and an active slate of presentations at national and international conferences. In particular, and what stood out to us most significantly in our review of her portfolio was Dr. Valentine's 2 articles published in the Journal for Research in Mathematics Education, JRME, the official journal of the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics and the leading journal for research dedicated to mathematics education. In fact, this journal is considered by mathematics education scholars to be the top peer-reviewed journal in their discipline. Undoubtedly, having one's research published in JRME is a strong indicator of its quality and rigor. Dr. Valentine was first author on both of these JRME manuscripts. On one of these pieces, entitled Lived Moments of Shift in Prospective Elementary Teachers' Mathematical Learning, investigated teacher candidates' reflections on their own experiences as learners of math, and considered how teacher candidates' past experiences can inform teacher education. The second piece, entitled Manifestations of Middle School Learners' Problemization Activity as an Embedded Phenomenon, examined 8th grade math students' questions and reflections on their experiences with the book Flatland, designed to facilitate inquiry around representations of physical space. Other works include a solo-authored methods chapter to encourage new research using interpretive and phenomenological approaches, and a co-authored book chapter investigating the game Pokemon Go as an environment for players and learners to navigate. Overall, in our review of Dr. Valentine's portfolio submitted for consideration of this award, we found consistent evidence of research and scholarly activity that has extended the boundaries of knowledge in mathematics education. So please join us in congratulating Dr. Keri Valentine, the 2021 CEHS Outstanding Researcher. Congratulations, Dr. Valentine.
Greetings, everybody. It is an honor to receive the College of Education and Human Services 2021 Outstanding Researcher Award. Thank you to the Research Service and Professional Development Committee, Dean Morris, Associate Dean Luna, and all of my colleagues and students in West Virginia and Georgia. I was asked to say a few words about who I am as a researcher. I'll start with a salient provocation before starting graduate school. During my final year as a middle school mathematics teacher, It was my students who lived the words of Edwin Abbott and refused to be confined to limited dimensionality. While Abbott was speaking from the perspective of the fictional character A Square living in a two-dimensional world called Flatland, my students felt similarly limited by their three-dimensional world, refusing to be confined to commonly accepted notions of mathematical space, a refusal that generated possibility and imagination. It was these students and those that followed who showed me what might be possible in a mathematics classroom in moments of play and oriented me to investigate the phenomena of lived space, lived body, lived other, and many other existential themes that permeate human being. As a phenomenological researcher, I take seriously the punk ethos of authenticity and deconstruction. In my 2019-2020 scholarship being recognized for this award, this ethos manifested in works that centered problematization, play, and embodiment. In this writing, I attended to problematization as an embodied phenomena during mathematics learning, argued for the value of interpretive and post-phenomenological research approaches, investigated lived moments of shift in prospective teachers' mathematical learning, and considered the way location-aware augmented reality games engage new embodiments for players. While these foci might seem disconnected, I argue that each deconstructs and traces our oftentimes limiting frames on what it means to know and be in the world. While my research efforts seek to primarily contribute to the field of mathematics education in order to imagine formal and informal possibilities for engaging learners in the core activity of grasping space, and to consider more broadly what might be entailed in the field's vision for changing perceptions about what it means to do mathematics, I look forward to continuing to develop my identity as a transdisciplinary researcher by problematizing theories, approaches, and disciplinary silos in a way that allows me to authentically engage in a research agenda that honors my past and desired future. I hope you all have a lovely summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Keri, and congratulations again. Next, the RSPD committee will announce the recipient of the 2021 Laddie R. Bell Distinguished Service Award. Dr. Laddie R. Bell was a former professor and an assistant dean in our college. He was a West Virginian who cared deeply about the people and communities surrounding him. Throughout his career, he worked tirelessly to bring to his native state the best opportunities that education can provide. He served both our institution and our state, fostering strong relationships between higher education and those with boots on the ground in the field. It is therefore most fitting that the award in his name recognized an individual within our college who has made exceptional contributions to the achievement of our mission and the development of our programs, engaging in service activities that are driven by the values underlying our mission: opportunity, inquiry, collaboration, engagement, and responsibility. We have many among us who exemplify these values and who go above and beyond to serve the people and communities of West Virginia and beyond. Each year, this award affords us the opportunity to honor one among us whose service is truly distinguished. So again, without further ado, I now turn it over to Rodney, who will announce this year's recipient.
The RSPD committee has chosen Dr. Tiffany Mitchell Patterson as the recipient of the 2021 Laddie R. Bell Distinguished Service Award. She has participated in extensive service and has acted to promote racial and social justice at the university level and also in the broader community. Some of her extensive service activities include serving as a member of the Faculty Senate Inclusion and Diversity Committee at the university level, serving as a member of both the Education and Political Action Committees of the Morgantown-Kingswood branch of the NAACP, and speaking on social justice at many events organized by student and local community organizations. In her narrative statement accompanying her portfolio, she described the importance of engaging in service that bridges the gap between university, students, faculty, staff, community, and teachers. Further describing teachers as having a critical role in this work, she noted her involvement in the Zinn Education Project, volunteering and hosting for 2 sessions. Her outreach is not limited to WVU or Morgantown and expands into other states and universities. For example, she was involved in the DC area Educators for Social Justice middle school and high school People's Curriculum Group and played a role in co-organizing the University of Virginia's 2020 Teachers in the Movement Institute, Living Black History, Teaching in the Era of Black Lives. Additionally, most recently, she contributed to an article in The Conversation and conducted a 2-hour professional development for Minneapolis social studies educators on teaching the complexities of social movements nearly a year following the murder of George Floyd. In her personal statement, she said, "It is hard to quantify her passion for justice and service to the community, as she has committed her life to fighting for racial and social justice. While it is an incredible honor to be nominated, the reward comes from the work and through racial progress." As a committee, we saw evidence of this passion and commitment to serve throughout her portfolio. We thank Dr. Tiffany Mitchell Patterson for her service and look forward to the impact she will continue to have on our college, community, state, and beyond. And we congratulate her as the recipient of the 2021 Laddie R. Bell Distinguished Service Award.
I would like to thank the Academy. Just kidding, I always wanted to say that. But I am genuinely humbled to be nominated, and I'm grateful that I was awarded the 2021 Laddie R. Bell Distinguished Service Award by the College of Education and Human Services here at West Virginia University. Racism has often been mischaracterized as a pandemic during these times, when in fact it is endemic. Blatant visual and violent acts of racism can serve as a reminder of the normalization of racism, but can also be a catalyst for a public reckoning. That was evident in the 2020 global uprisings asserting Black Lives Matter. This is a long-standing movement exposing long-standing racial inequities. And since my arrival here to WVU in 2018, I've been heavily involved in fighting for racial justice on campus, in the community, and more broadly with teachers around the nation. A continuation of my work I've done since a youth, as an activist, and later as a critical educator. I remain committed to the fight for racial justice as it's central to all aspects of my work. This past year, I was able to stand in solidarity with Black students, staff, alumni, and community allies. I spoke at many events on racial justice organized by students and local community organizations. As a member of the Morgantown Kingwood NAACP branch, serving on education and political action committees, I was able to learn about local issues and get plugged into grassroots organizing happening locally. As a critical educator, though, I really believe that teachers are at the core of the movement for liberation. I've had the privilege to work alongside my colleagues at Teaching for Change, a national nonprofit dedicated to providing teachers, parents, and students the tools to create schools where our students learn how to read, write, and change the world. Alongside my other comrades at the DC area Educators for Social Justice and the Zen Education Project. And I was able to be a part of the Teach the Black Freedom Struggle national series for online history classes for teachers. There are so many ways that I've been able to get involved this year and work with hundreds of teachers around the country. And it's hard to quantify my passion for this work in service to the community because I've committed my life to fighting for racial and social justice. This is simply who I am and what I do. While it's an incredible honor to be nominated and awarded this, I know that the true reward comes from the work and through racial progress. So I'm very grateful to my colleagues for seeing and honoring and valuing that work. And I'll always find ways to engage in social justice, anti-racist, anti-bias, anti-oppressive work because education is my revolution.
Congratulations to each of our award winners. Thank you for joining us. See you soon.